is the date today? I have lost track. This month has moved by so fast. It is Monday the 27th already. Wow. Good morning, Tony. Good to see you. Some of us ain't fit for TV. Well, believe it or not, and I'll probably touch on this multiple times as people ask. Um, we sent out some clips of some of the investigations and stuff like that, and interest has been shown. I think I'm crooked here. Hold on a second. No, I think I'm still crooked. What the hell? I think that's better. But we sent out some clips, and interest has been shown about possibly, because of our technique on our investigations and stuff like that, of keeping everything on the up and up, that um, it might be view worthy. It's something that's they're taking an interest in. So, I'm trying to constantly, you know, keep the good stuff coming early in 2025 with the investigations and stuff like that, uh, so they stay interested. But, it's one of them situations where um, you can't do it alone. I mean, it's impossible. My mother-in-law spent what $100 on this new camera that I got for Christmas. Um, gonna need like a FLIR camera and some other monitoring systems and stuff. Man, people's just coming in. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Buck. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. The dude. Good morning, dude. Hope you're doing well this morning. But yeah, we are really trying hard to it's kind of been my dream, for a while, and I've even got the whole generalized plot thing figured out. Call it like blind investigations. Since these last couple days have been really hard, walking to work, trying to read a digital scale in a brightly lit room that has no backlighting or anything. So when this when this eye really messes up, it's rough. Um, the whole idea behind, no big name stars and professional investigators and stuff. It's all YouTubers. It's all um, supporters of channels and stuff like that I want to pull on the show to help with these investigations. Um, Good morning, Santee. You shawl wearing? I am not wearing a shawl, sir. I am wearing my cardigan and my nice warm scarf because it's frickin' cold in Michigan right now. It was 11 degrees when I woke up at 3:45 this morning. Yes, I overslept, but I also stayed up 3 hours longer last night with the wife, knowing I didn't have to work today, at least outside the house. I got a lot of work to do in here, though. Wow. Uh, Let me see here. There's Jan. Good morning, dear. Steven, good morning. Big homie. How you doing, bud? Long time no see. Hope you're doing good. It's a shawl collar. You blush. You look like a distinguished gentleman, Drew, with that cardigan. I'm gonna take this sucker off. I could put on the second throw over, but I'm afraid I'm going to get just too hot sitting here and start melting down. So earlier today, though, I had this one here on, and I had my black and gray throw over sweater on. It was cold in here. That I explained before. I can't shut the window all the way and leave the vent going because it gets about 125 degrees in here. You know, kind of like Santee's backyard in August. So I have to leave the window cracked open. It gets down, you know, 11, 10, single digits. It gets colder than a well digger's butt and cast iron drawers in here. But I appreciate that, homie. I love this sweater. This thing is comfortable. Loving the goatee. Drew is a distinguished gentleman. Well, thank you, sis. I appreciate that. I'm believe it. I know it kind of looks like a goatee right now, but believe it or not, it's actually I'm letting the full beard grow in. So because 2025, the end of 2025, I'm actually starting the professional Santa Claus thing. So I won't be stepping on Jay's toes because he's 5 hours away. So I've got like this northern area. He's got all that down there. I don't think I'm ready to be a mall Santa yet, but I'm more than happy to do private parties and stuff like that. Um, I pulled out my acoustic guitar yesterday and realized that I can still play some for 30 minutes. Fingers got really sore, so I got to build more calluses. I'm drinking coffee and whiskey. Good morning, Chris. Good to see you, bud. Man, there's getting quite a few folks in here I've not seen in a while. I'm drinking. No, I'm not even going to call it coffee. I used the last of my regular coffee yesterday, so those decaffeinated beans that the wife's aunt gave her, she didn't realize they were decaffeinated. Um, but she gave them to her like 2 months ago, and I had to go out there this morning and grab yay much beans, and instead of using the grinder to make ground coffee this morning, I just brought them in here in a Ziploc bag and you know rolled them under my pewter shot glass until they were pretty much crumbled up. And well, needless to say, this is not coffee. This is very bitter brown water. And by the sounds of things, it's just going to get even worse. If you guys didn't hear the news, um, the first plane load of immigrants went back to Colombia the other day and was turned away. They were not permitted to land. Um, of course, a phone call was made to the Colombian president, and he said under no circumstances would they be allowed back in the country, and they were our responsibility. And a 25% tariff on anything coming out of Colombia was put into effect. And if non-compliance continued, it would become a 50% tariff, which means any Colombian coffee that we drink very soon may be 50% more than it is now. If that happens, Papa's going to start drinking a whole lot of tea. So, whole lot of tea. Thank you, Jan. I appreciate it. I'm trying really hard. I mean, I caught myself last night. I woke up, which, the daughter's alarm for her blood sugar monitor went off at 11:30 last night and woke me up about an hour after I went to sleep. And I caught myself itching at it. So, still don't want to shave it, though. I'm going to let that puppy get clear down here. So, I mean, this is only 2 months of growing, so, 2.5 months. So it should be pretty nice. I could put some Miracle Grow on it, though. No work today. That's cool. I've got working online. I've got to work online today. Haven't played a thing in 15 to 18 years. At least you remembered some of it, man. But I agree with the finger thing. I agree with the finger thing. Trying to play this violin is the same way because I'm not one of those 3 times a week fingernail clippers. I clip them like once a week. And, just getting my fingers around to work it. And I've tried to play guitar, and maybe I just didn't do enough hard work in my life. I don't know. Maybe some calluses on my fingers would work. Sorry, it's been a while. Developed an infection in my foot after Christmas. By New Year's, they had to take my leg below the. Oh my God, man. Jeez, I'm so sorry about that. Oh my God. That's terrible. Man, that's two. That's two of our family that's had that surgery done within the last couple months. That's truly sad. I'm so sorry, bud. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear. Better they buckled, or so they said on TV this morning. I got no clue. I just watched the news from this morning, and they were talking about it. And hey, I told the wife, I said, thank God tea comes out of China. Well, most of the teas that we drink, except for the English teas that I like to drink, like my Earl Grey and stuff like that. I don't have to worry about price increases there. But I'll tell you what, my cheap generic coffee goes up to $15 or $17 a bag. Nope, you're gonna start seeing tea brewed in that coffee pot. It's gonna become my teapot. Never did the played it till my fingers bled, but I did play a frickin' lot. I'm doing fine, no pain, healing very fast. That's amazing, dude. That's amazing. Thank God. Thank God. I've got a real good friend of mine that lost his right leg to diabetes several years ago. And because of his height, he's over 7 feet tall. He he took a specially built prosthetic, and they have to keep changing it on him. But it's just been a constant, like for the last probably 9 or 10 years. It's been just a constant thing for him. But once again, probably his height more than anything. So I'm glad that you're not having the pain and the issues that, he had so new into it. I'll switch to Kona. Well, I'm going to switch to something. Of course, I don't worry about the same thing happening to Canada. We very seldom ever buy maple syrup. We're not going to be buying any new cars anytime in the near future. Can't afford to buy food, let alone a new car. Um, I kind of like that Hawaiian coffee. Never had Kona. Never had it. But it's just. Oh, and while we're on the subject of poor decisions, did you guys hear that the one of the new things set into effect last week was the two sex thing? I'm sure you heard that part, but did you hear that the scientist that worded and wrote it out, or wrote his section out describing the two sexes, um, how they worded it legally, there are no men in America anymore? Basically, they're saying you are what you are. You are, as an adult, what you are at the time of conception. If you take the large cell, then you're a woman. If you take the small cell, you're a man. At the time of conception, all of us are only large cell. You don't get the small cell until about 6 weeks in to your development. So therefore, at the time of conception, every living thing is female. So, by their definition, there are no men in America anymore. Or, well, there are no men in the world anymore, because at the time of conception, which is how it's phrased, you are what you were conceived as. I almost wore a dress and a sunbonnet for today's live stream. If you all get a chance to meet my wife or talk to her, thank her. Because there was absolutely nothing hanging in her closet that would have looked pretty on me. Nothing. So, thank her. Like, oh my God, I'll be okay. I have to get the trash out. Be right back. Vermont has enough syrup. Exactly. Good morning, Blue Moon. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I am woman, hear me roar. That's right. Yes, yes. Apparently now I am Drusilla, which, if you all remember right, was one of the ugly stepsisters in Cinderella. And boy, do I fit the bill on that one. You can't write this stuff, guys. I mean, seriously, you cannot write this stuff. I mean, like I said, I planned on sleeping in this morning since I stayed up late. I got woke up at like 340, 345, something like that. Came in here, started the coffee pot, and started watching videos until I could decide what video I was going to work on. And all I was finding was news, 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 news. This mistake, this mistake. Oh, this means this. And I'm like, oh, what? It's no wonder my boobs hurt. That's why. That's why. Because obviously, um, I'm having those same issues that every woman has. Back pain from my breastises and stuff like that. Oh, and a vampire on Buffy. I forgot about that. I forgot about Drusilla. Damn, what else is going to be what else would be affected by these tariffs? The wife likes avocados. They come from Mexico. No tariffs there yet. Nothing in place for Canada yet. I don't know if they're going after China. So right now it looks like it's going to be coffee and coffee beans. Corn. I mean, they have native corn down there, so any corn imported into America, which with Iowa, I don't know why in the hell we would need anybody else's corn. I mean, you drive through Iowa, that's pretty much all it is corn. Every once in a while you'll see a tree or a deer, but other than that, it's corn. So, I don't know. Has all your snow melted yet, Jan? We've had a couple of really warm days. It got up to like 27 yesterday. I almost went out and got the lawn chair out and laid on the back deck to see if I could get a tan, but after I took the trash out, I realized the only thing I was going to get was frostbite. So I nixed that idea. I nipped it in the bud. I was not going out and trying to get a tan, regardless of how nice the sun felt. The wind, on the other hand, told a different story. So, bananas are export from Colombia. Ah, crap. Like bananas aren't expensive enough. Camping cage free. Good morning. Welcome in Southwest Missouri. That's someplace I'd love to go. I've got friends in Missouri. I'd love to go down there and do some history videos, maybe even do a couple investigations of some different places. You know, Missouri's an interesting place. Going to be in the 50s here this week. You lucky dog. Uh, what's our week look like? I haven't even. Well, we've gone up 4 degrees since I got up. It's a whole 15 right now. Where's my. There it is. Daily. Looks like Thursday we might get up to 39 degrees. But I've noticed that we've been staying real close to those lows, not the highs. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get there. Um, Going to be in the 50s here hopefully by the end of the week. You saw my video with the RC. No, it didn't even pop up. I'll have to get on your channel when this is over with and see what I can find. Fingers crossed they change it constantly. Definitely the spook light in Joplin, Seneca areas. Oh, I know Joplin is one I would love to do. It's a balmy 17 here. Shh. Move south, young man. They're just as cold down there. I just talked to mom and dad the other day, and they've been in the teens and got snow and everything else. Normally, when it snows down there, it's just a couple inches, and by like 11, 12 o'clock midday, all it is, the shape of the trees that line their driveway. Of snow, everything else is melted, and I don't even know if they've gone back to school yet. Their schools, believe it or not, when I talked to her on the 18th of January, she said they have been out of school since the 17th of December down there. None of the schools have gone back in because they keep saying chance of snow, chance of snow, chance of snow, cold temperatures. You know, the schools aren't equipped for, these really cold temperatures and snow and stuff. So they were out of school for a whole month. I don't know if they've gone back yet. I've seen the light years ago. Oh, nice. And I'm trying online my ass off with the balmy shit. In the video, I flipped it on the snow. It's 27 there. I'd give anything for 27 again. I mean, yesterday felt decent. I actually opened the back door, opened the inside door just to let the sunlight come through the windows. The kitchen was hot in no time, but I'll tell you what, when you open that screen door to walk outside to take trash out or feed the kittens or something like that, a brr. Doesn't surprise me Gatlinburg surrounding areas got it bad. You got, I wish I could come on down, but I get one day off a week. So, but that's okay. It's a good exercise, walking in the snow, sitting up there and making the dough. I love my job. Here in about a month and a week, so about 40 days. I gotta look into a second job to supplement the hours that I'm not getting at the brewery, to actually try to bring some money in here so we have money the day after payday. My kids have been 2.5 days since Christmas break. They do go back today, half a day, but should be good after today. Supposed to get in the 40s. I heard New Orleans got 8 inches of snow. That's more than we had, and they're not equipped to no, they're not. That was the problem with the snow reaching so far south is, southern Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. None of them have snow plows. Think about those poor folks in Texas and Oklahoma and stuff like that. I mean, the whole time I was in Texas, I never seen a winter under 65 degrees. And Houston got snow this year. That's unheard of. I mean, I just lived a few miles north of Houston when I was down there. And I've told you guys the story before a long time ago. But my first Christmas down there, Christmas morning, I'm sitting in my living room with my windows open and my ceiling fans on in a pair of shorts and a tank top playing video games. And I called my mom and dad to wish them a Merry Christmas. And he asked me what the weather was like, and I told him what I was doing, what the weather was like. He said, "We just talked to your sister. They're in Florida right now swimming." I said, "Well, what's your weather like?" He said, "Well, right now it's 20 degrees outside um, with a 30-mile-an-hour wind. We've got 34 inches of snow, and we're expecting 18 more in the next day and a half." He said, "You and your sister can both suck it. Move someplace warmer." And they did. And now look, they're snowed in. Well, snowed in by Tennessee standards. For most of us, that live in the Midwest or the Ohio Valley or Great Lakes region or East Coast, they got a spattering. 6 inches, I think, total is what they got. But, we've had 6 inches 4 times since the 1st of December. We've had over 13 inches out here this year. Um, do you think that you'll get more hours since it'll be spring soon? Could you ask for extra work at your job? In Texas, they borrowed piles from Arkansas. Someplace warms hot as all hell in July. Um, my hours will increase just a bit as spring approaches, but not a lot. Basically, like on Fridays and Saturdays, or well, Thursday and Friday, for Friday and Saturday, I will make during the warm months, I will make anywhere between 80 and 120 dough balls. Um, but that's still basically an hour and a half of mixing time. They just recently cut dough balls back to 60 for Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, but I do 80 for Friday and Saturday. And it's still the same production time. So just a little bit of extra time it's going to take me to mix that mixture and then put it in the plastic Cambros to store overnight. And then the extra time rolling the next morning is, so you're talking maybe an hour, hour and a half max extra time when it increases. And no, uh, getting up so early and going to work in the morning, and then locking the place back up, setting the alarm, and leaving. The rest of the crew don't come in until 2 or 3, and they don't want me working evenings because it's going to cut down on my rest time and my sleep time to come back in the next morning. So yeah, there's not going to be any increased time or extra time involved. I am the morning dough guy, and that's what I'll remain. Um, yeah, it is a lot of balls to handle. I know where you're going with that, and I'm not going to fall for it. I've always been one of those handsy kind of guys. Clickety 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 click. The click. I ain't going anywhere. The implication is right there. It's okay, Tony. I'm good at what I do. The owners tell me on a regular basis that I mean they thank me regularly for coming in there early like I do, for doing what I do. Um, we actually got another one of those astounding reviews last week and a half ago. Um, and frankly, we've got those reviews, those 5-star reviews where customers will leave those reviews about, oh my God, that was the absolute best pizza I've had in my entire life. But when a person gives you a 5-star review and they say each bite of that pizza brought me closer to heaven, I don't know if they're trying to say that they almost died trying to keep it choked down, or if it was just absolutely amazing. I don't know. I wasn't there to ask them. But, as long as the 5-star reviews and the compliments keep coming in, I'm the guy. I had an MRI scheduled for Thursday morning, so I'm taking the day off from work. I have an MRI scheduled for Thursday morning, so I'm taking the day off from work. You taking Thursday off, or are you off today in anticipation for Thursday? I'm still supposed to get, you know, uh, an MRI, but with no money to pay for it, I was I was here the other day. I got home from work, everything went well, walked home. I was having like little dizzy spells at work, but nothing really bad. Got home, got on my sweatsuit, relaxed, started watching a movie, and uh, along about 1:30, a quarter till 2 in the afternoon, I started getting a lot of pressure right here. I mean, like somebody kicked me in the side of the head, and it's like the whole room just. I mean, like if y'all are familiar with the old Johnny Poppers on the oil wells, they had the great big steel wheel on them, and they start speeding up, and the wheel slowly starts going faster. That's what the room started doing. And I closed my eyes, and everything, and I kept wanting to just slump over. And when I opened my eyes, everything was just kind of. And then I started getting really nauseous, and I actually yelled at the daughter to bring me a trash can because I thought I was going to throw up. And it wasn't no more than probably 5 or 10 minutes later, the wife messaged me, and I'm like, oh my God, it just happened again. I'm not even going to try to stand up. I managed to get sat up on the edge of the bed, and I was there for 20 or 25 minutes until the room quit spinning. And it just, I mean, scared the bejesus out of me. I'll tell you what, you don't realize the limits to your own mortality until weird shit starts happening to your body, and the doctors want you to get something done to try to figure out what's happening with you, but you can't afford to get it done. I mean, it just totally, my vision went all blurry again, and not so that not only was it foggy, but it was blurry as well. It just scared the bloody blue bejesus out of me. Hope it goes well. What's the place called? It sounds very good. Not that I would ever be able to go. It's called Cassopolis Beer Company. You can look it up on Facebook. Um, they have a Facebook page. It's a white sign with a little black outline drawn bird with a trout in its mouth. That's their insignia. Can't believe you don't have any kind of insurance. You were in the military. It's crazy. Okay, time to finish. Morning, Ty. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well this morning. Yep, no insurance here. No insurance here. Apparently, I went to the VA, and since they waited until like 10 minutes before I was to leave base, um, to catch my plane home, they handed me the regular discharge papers, a stack of papers, um, as thick as the executive orders that were signed the day after inauguration. Um, and the clerk, sign here, sign here, sign. Apparently, slipped in there somewhere was a paper stating that I would not inquire or was eligible for any benefits, any VA help, anything like that. Which, from what I've heard from other veterans, was pretty standard in the late 80s, early 90s. Um, almost as standard as what they're doing with the military now about sending them to the border or using them as a police group. Um, my own sons went through it, where just in case there was some kind of a civil uprising in the country, they would ship them. Like if you're from Indiana, they would ship you to like St. Louis or Los Angeles or something like that to get familiarized with the territory. So if there was a civil uprising and they had to activate the military as a police force, you would not be pointing a weapon at people or people that you may be related to or something like that. So, they send them clear across the country to different locations to do this training. Um, so, yeah, I don't know. Everybody's getting their good mornings out of the way. But yeah, since the state of Michigan all of a sudden, after 6 years of carrying me on insurance and, dealing with my diabetes, dealing with the blood clots, dealing with my heart, dealing with that kind of stuff, they just all of a sudden decided we made too much money, and they didn't want to cover it anymore. So I'm stuck. I mean, the hospital's trying to help push it through, but we've not heard anything yet. Not even a date for an evaluation or a meeting or anything. So, while all of these possible mini strokes continue hitting me until the big one, finally hits that makes me, forget you guys and what I do on here and stuff like that. It's probably not going to affect my language, at least I hope not, or my speech with Grandma. If you guys remember the couple of videos that she was in, her speech was fine, her memory was shot. Um, you could tell her something, and 5 minutes later it was gone. Um, there has been a couple of mornings that I have come in here to work on a video and couldn't remember how to work my editing program. It only lasted a couple minutes till I, got my head squared around and remembered just by punching buttons and figuring it out. But, it's still scary. It's still scary. What's insurance? Apparently I don't have any here in Missouri. Um, Insurance is that thing that everybody needs and hardly anybody can afford, unless you make, you know, $100,000 a year. And the really sad thing about state insurance is the fact that they only take into consideration what you bring in. They don't take into consideration what you pay out. So, let's say they look at my wife's amount of pay per hour and how much she is supposed to bring home each pay period. Well, she's supposed to bring home almost $1,000 a week. After taxes, that cuts it down to about $800 a week. Now that the um, tribal court that owns the casino she works at said, oh, well, according to our laws, your daughter, the court ordered insurance coverage on your daughter. My wife says, well, yes, she has Medicaid, and her birth father pays for her insurance as well. And then they come back and say, oh, well, you have to too. So there's another $100 a week taken out of her paycheck every 2 weeks. She only gets paid twice a month. So, where she should bring home $2,000 a month, she brings home like $1,400. Now, on that $1,400, we're paying a $720 a month mortgage payment. She's paying $200 a month car insurance, $300 a month car payment, plus utilities. We've already exceeded with what's going out, what's coming in. But we make too much money. Thankfully, I get insurance with my job. However, I still have a big copay, but it's state insurance, so it's not the worst, not the best, but not the worst. And that was a problem I ran into when I started looking for my own insurance, just going to get my own insurance. I could get my own insurance for like $37 a month, But yeah, there's a huge copay with it. So though I could probably, I could get a second job, I could pay that, that 30, 37, almost $38 a month. But coming up with a $1,000 copay or a $1,500 copay or something like that, there's no possible way. Missouri claims I'm still covered under Iowa, and I'm not. Well, what you need to do in a case like that is you need to contact the people in Iowa at the state insurance or whatever welfare and have them submit paperwork to you via the mail that you are no longer covered under your state insurance in Iowa because you now reside in Missouri. And then you need to present that paperwork to the agencies, the proper people in Missouri. And let's jump rope with a whole lot of red ribbon you got to cut through. Oh, but it's just But as I was explaining at the beginning of the stream, when a lot of you started coming in, I was talking to Tony about it. When he made the comment about some of us are not fit for TV. Apparently, um, some people who have a history of being on television doing the paranormal thing, um, that are on YouTube, and Twitter and Facebook have seen some of our videos. And it has been suggested that we pursue getting our paranormal videos turned into a paranormal show on television. So, that's what we're working on right now. I am contacting the proper individuals to try to get something to happen in 2025, or at least get confirmation of something happening in 2025. Um, it's going to mean a lot of travel. I won't have to get up at the butt crack of dawn to roll dough balls anymore. But, it's the idea of coming up with, the equipment and the people. The people's a big thing. The people's a big thing with me because I never got off on these shows that are on television that have musical sensations or actors or just big names in general, newscasters coming out and becoming a temporary part of an investigation. And one of the things that was brought to my attention was the fact that we only have other YouTubers. Those dweebs, What Goes Bump in the Night, Jan and Jay, Tommy Amongst the Tombstones, Randy's Real Paranormal, Southern Michigan Paranormals, and they like that idea. Here is a semi-professional paranormal group that uses only other guest semi-professional paranormal groups to join in on investigations. So that's another, another catch point. Um, Let me see here. I have state employee benefits, but they used to be a lot better. My copay's $40, but it used to be 20. I will be honest, I don't know how y'all do it. I make double what your wife does a month, and I have a hard time with both kids. I can't imagine. And see, it wouldn't be so hard on us if, you know, the insurance that my daughter has, if it would cover a doctor. Let me explain this. Michigan has like four or five or six different insurances on Medicaid, and each insurance covers a different doctor. Well, the state assigns you your insurance, and her insurance, it'll cover a hospital in St. Joe, which is only 30 minutes away towards the lake. Her endocrinologist, being a child's endocrinologist, um, is clear up in Grand Rapids, a 2 hour trip. Anything that she does that has to do with her blood sugar, they have to go clear to Grand Rapids. So not only does the wife miss a day of work, but she's basically on the road 5 hours plus the time that she's up there, you know, and that's pulling away from her gas to drive back and forth to work for the week, or, whatever the case may be. Um, that's the thing with that. And I had to explain to the daughter the other day because she wanted her mom to get something that she wanted to bake something. She wanted to bake something. I don't remember what it was. But I had to explain to her, we just didn't have the money. When grandma was alive, grandma made $1,800 a month. She took care of the furnace payment. She took care of the hot water heater payment. Yes, we rent our hot water heater, part of the contract with the mortgage company. She paid the house payment, and always had the extra money in case something popped up. Well, when she passed away, that jerked all that money away. So, where she was covering, let's say she was covering um, $900 a month for the bills and stuff like that. Um, when she passed away, let's just say $800 of that was jerked away. So, yeah, I wasn't supposed to be working. My doctor flipped out when I told him I was going back to work. And I told him, I said, give us $800 a month and we'll be fine. I can stay at home. He didn't like that idea very much. Headed off to work. Have a great day. You too, Jan. We'll catch you later. Have a good day. Um, that'd be great. Oh, I know. And it's really cool because I've already named it blind investigations, or uh, going in blind. Which, I mean, our investigations are always blind investigations because, with the exception of the history of a place that we go to, we never research any paranormal happenings at any of the places that we go to. So we always kind of go in blind. It's just a play on words, you know. You're blind in one eye, can't see out of the other. Things are active this morning on the channel or on the platform. Honestly, we do fairly well with what we make. If only I could get these vehicles to stop needing every part changed. Well, don't feel like the lone stranger, man. I think I, no, I didn't get a chance to tell you guys. The wife was going to work last week, and she's driving down the road 35 mile an hour, you know, trying not to get ran over by other vehicles. And she dropped down to 27 miles an hour when she was going past this area that had snow piled up on both sides of the road, and you could see it blowing from one, you know, plowed drift to another. Hit a spot right in the center of it, black ice. Black ice. She hadn't been out of town for 15 minutes, and she called me all shaken up and crying because she had hit that black ice and the car just jetted straight to the right, hit the plowed snow and the drifts on the right side of the road, went off in the ditch, went into the field, and she sat there for like an hour and a half waiting. Luckily, there was gas in it, so she could stay warm. But she got home that night, and she noticed. Well, she went on to work and didn't notice it because she was still shaken up. She came home that night and she said that the car was shaking, and she couldn't figure out what the deal was. And I told her, I said, you know, forcing it into that snow like that and out in that field, I said, you could have damaged the front end of it. You know, there could be ice or something jammed in around the wheel. It could have actually jammed in and broke the bead between the rim and the tire. And you could have ice and snow packed in there that's causing an imbalance. And, you know, we went down to the gas station and I checked the tires with the tire gauge just to make sure, you know, because tires do lose air in the wintertime. And both of her front tires were about, well, one front tire was about 5 pounds off and one front tire was 7 pounds off. So I equalized the air pressure in both tires for her, and set them right at, you know, 35 pounds each. And she said that it did cut down on the vibration going to work the next day, but not a lot. Well, 2 days she dealt with this. 2 days she dealt with this. And it actually warmed up a little bit. And all of a sudden, it quit vibrating at all. So I was probably right. There was some snow or ice packed in there somewhere that was throwing off the balance. And it melted away, or she hit a bump and it fell out, or whatever the case may be. But in the process of filling the tires up, we realized that her tread is way down on the tires. So as soon as we can afford it, we're going to take the tires in to get them rotated, and hopefully in the spring be able to get new tires for the car. So Tony knows all about buying new tires for the car. He just done that himself. So um on my way to work. See you later, Sarah. Take care, honey. Have a good day. Yes, Columbia did reverse their course. Cool. Cool. We get to continue drinking good Colombian coffee then for a while. But yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, guys. I really want to do this TV thing and uh, get a hold of some of you guys to come out and join them. All truck, all truck, and only truck. Yeah, yeah. I kind of really wish she would have got a truck instead of this SUV. That's what she had discussed doing. That's what she had discussed doing is getting um, a full size pickup with an extended cab, and she wound up with this Chevy Equinox. It's a far cry from a truck. Can't fit near as much in the back end, and don't go half the places that a four-wheel drive will go. But well, it may be a stretch to call Forerunner a truck. It's trucky enough. Okay, you can't just open the door and fall into the driver's seat. You actually got to get up into a driver's seat. So yeah, it's trucky. It's trucky enough. Um, it's that time, guys. Give me just a second. Need to make a run to the Tinkle house, Tinkle room. This is not the Tinkle room, and yeah. But you guys, talk real nice amongst yourselves, and I'll be back in just a minute. You hear that, Mister Coffee? You don't have to make tea for the foreseeable future. Ooh. Oh, once, twice, three times I made it. 4 by 4 Dakota. You slide down into it. It sits that low. Oh my God. Uh, And see, the only Dakota I've ever been in before, um, it must have sat 3 foot off the ground. I mean, you didn't exactly have to climb up into it, but you had to lift yourself up to get over the edge of the seat. But yeah, I always liked Dakotas though, especially the Dakota 4 by 4s. But I grew up around, some of you older folks in here, might remember the old 1978 Ford F-250s. Um, big truck, big truck. Plus, the old man had those great big mud stompers on his, so he could pull people out of the fields and stuff. If they, went off, had an accident, went off the road. So, he had the front locking hubs, he had the inside gear shift, the whole shebang, and nothing. Uh, I seen winters out in the country when the roads were not plowed. So the old man just shift into, 4-wheel drive and go out and drive through the fields to get past the big drifts and stuff like that. But then again, that thing sat 4 feet off the ground too, so he had to install steps on the passenger side so my mom could get in and out of it because she didn't have anything to grab a hold of up by the glove box to pull herself up in the car or up in the truck. Um, this Dakota sits at the same ride height as the 2-wheel drive. Dodge did that on purpose. I do like that idea for the most part. Prevents me from trying to go places that I might not ought to go. Go figure. Oh, you animal. So let's just say hypothetically, that my plans for 2025 work out and Blind Investigations becomes a televised program. How many of you, if I came to your location, came to your state, whatever, would, be willing to come out and join the team for an investigation? Those of you that have your own, paranormal team or something like that, how many of you would be willing to come out and join the blind investigation group to well, excuse me, sir. I kind of sort of already come up with that idea. All that's done off camera. Yep, got to behave for the general public. Well, I mean, unless we're doing a saloon or somewhere, um, sitting down, having a drink, smoking cigars, playing cards, something like that. Then yeah, but not on the investigations part. Advertisers don't like that. Well, Philip Morris. Yeah, exactly. Blind investigations brought to you by Bud Light and Philip Morris. It it it'd be interesting. Mysteries have been solved over a drink and smoke for years. It has. It has. You're absolutely right. Um, put your hat back on you there, Mister Skull. Um, how's that saying go? Calmer heads. Um, here's where the memory thing starts to be. Basically calmer heads went out. So, you're sitting down, you're having a drink, you're smoking a cigar, you're chatting with others, doing the same thing. Calmer heads prevail. That's what it is. Calmer heads prevail. So when you take away all the stress and everything and you do something to calm yourself, that's usually when you come up with the best answers. So I got no issues with smoking. I smoke, but there is such a stigma on it that it's problematic. Oh, of course, I agree with you. I actually agree quite a bit. I like my Supreme Blend. Like I said, these things are American made. They're made down in Dallas, Texas. And I, frankly, you know, to me, it's one of the best cigars out there. Man, we are down to three people watching. It's amazing how many people watch these streams after they air. I mean, I thought the whole idea of watching a live stream is the communication thing, being able to share your own opinions, your own thoughts, to comment on the things that the host talks about. But it's amazing how we will only have like, five, 9, 10, 12 people in here during a live stream. But if I look back at this live stream on Wednesday, it will have had 50, 60, 70 people that have watched it. It just blows me away. It's really honestly no different than a video, except, you know, it's live, not edited. Um, I will watch later if I miss the thing. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people do. So the same thing with early watch. Oh, really? Yeah, it just blows me away that, everybody knows that I'm here 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, Monday mornings. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was exhausted this morning after, losing. I slept later, but I went to bed much later. And, an hour after I got up this morning and came in here, especially drinking decaf coffee, oh, I say again, I was ready to go back to bed. And I didn't know if I was going to be up in time to do it. I almost canceled it. And I thought, nope, I get one morning a week to sit and talk to everybody live. I'm going to do it. And I did. No thanks to you. Oh, and now it's cold. Damn it. But yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be kind of cool to, you know, take us from the small screen to the big screen, um, where people can, watch us sitting around their living room on the TV and see these investigations, and even still do some live investigations. Bring in other YouTube teams to help out. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to get big stars and stuff like that. But I would much rather concentrate on small teams that I personally watch and like, and um, share them with the world, because they're the ones that need the recognition, not the ones that you know people that are already big, already well known, easily recognized in a crowd. I got a Remington shotgun shell coffee cup for Christmas, and I'm surprised on how well it does its job. Oh, that's cool. I got to buy my own coffee cups. The wife says I have too many coffee cups. Kind of like my mom used to say about my dad's ball cap collection. He used to have like 200 ball caps every time they would travel or we would travel as a family. He'd pick up a new ball cap at a truck stop or something somewhere. He used to have them lining his TV room, his little man cave, going all around from the ceiling down. Every time he'd buy a new one, he'd put a new, paneling nail in and hang his ball cap up. The wife says I have too many coffee cups. I don't know what she's talking about. I only got like 8 or 10 of them. It is 8 1/4 tall, 3 inches across. Dang, that's a coffee cup. That sucker hold like half a pot of coffee. But yeah, like I said, that's my big goal for 2025. Um, Gonna need to get some more up to date modern equipment. I'm looking. I've started looking into like a FLIR camera, um, an EM pump, stuff like that to help. You know, um, make our presentation more impressive. So you see here, wondering why calling it. ball cap. Saying, just saying, maybe should be called bald cap for most. Evidently, it is double up buck. Says 9 pellets. Sometimes I ask weird questions. Weird questions are. There's no such a thing as a bad question. I don't care what anybody tells you. There is no such a thing as a bad question. Every question, regardless of how bad or how silly you might think it is, it's because you're curious for an answer or, some kind of confirmation or better understanding. So that's something that I was always taught when I was little. So I've carried that on to adulthood, that there is no such a thing as a silly question or a bad question or anything like that. It's always in the interest of seeking more knowledge. I suspect that ball cap was due to being designed for baseball players a century or so back. I would say you're actually probably right about that. Why is this thing? Uh huh. Yep. Nope. It says it's live. The mind has its own option. Always. Always. I have thought that many, many times. I knew what you meant, but make sure my cigar is not coming unwrapped again. Yeah, the full brim on the hat in those days would have sucked on the ball field. Really, honestly, would have. Morning, dog. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I was trying to get into your room this morning and say hi, and I just couldn't get past your thumbnail because every time I looked at it, I just giggled, and I have a hard enough time seeing the keyboard. So when you got tears running down your face, but I did come in and at least give you a thumbs up, but yeah, I just couldn't stop giggling every time I seen that thumbnail. It just made me start to chuckle. Made of wool, probably summer day hot. Now, see, that's very possible too. Most of the hats back in that time period were made of wool, and wool don't breathe all that easy. Well, and I gotta explain this, dog. I do. Um, the reason it made me chuckle so much is right before you went live, I saw a news report that they were talking about the whole, you know, man woman thing. And the scientific advisor that helped to write that into law messed up. And this was pointed out by a biologist that that they had messed it up because it's worded that you are what you're You remain to be, you will always be what you are at the time of conception. If you are conceived by the large cell, then you are female. If you're conceived at the time of conception by the small cell, then you are and always will be male. But the small cell chromosome so at the time of conception, everybody is female. So, in essence, there are no men in America anymore. There are no men in the world. We're all women by that advisor's own wording. And I just laughed about it. And then when I seen Michelle Obama, male, and yeah, I'm like, um, back in the reenactment days, I wore black wool hats, and I don't recall them seeming hot. The woolen waistcoat, knee breeches with stockings were, in a word, hot. Yeah. Only on like the really, really, really hot days, late July, August. Yeah, the black wool hat did seem to get a little warm, especially when you had a lot of hair. Um, Now, my white wool hat doesn't seem bad at all. I'll wear it all summer long. It don't bother me. But yeah, most definitely, wool breeches, the stockings, the coats, vestits. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely hot. Oh my God, I'm a mistake. Oopsie doodles. It's a simple XXXY. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that Y chromosome or that male chromosome don't enter the fetus until almost a month and a half after conception. So that's the whole issue behind it right now, and that's what everybody's laughing at is who are these scientific advisors? Who's getting these definitions of what happens at the time of conception? Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Crescent Hotel, dude. I would love to do the Crescent Hotel. There's so many places, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Colorado, Oklahoma, North Dakota, South Dakota, California, Oregon, Washington. There's a lot of places I'd love to do. And having uh, a company like Discovery or something like that doing the financial thing, paying for the plane tickets, paying for the hotels, stuff like that, it would finally be possible. Or I can just keep hoping and praying that one day that wealthy benefactor accidentally sees our live stream and says, hey, I want to help this guy out. I like him. He does some great investigations. And, they go down into the description and they get the link out of the description under the video and they, send me a, a even a tiny buttload of money. We're not even going to say a buttload. We're going to say a pocket load. We're going to say a wallet of money that I can get these things and start taking care of stuff. But I think everybody that commits every spare second of their life that they're not working to doing something hopes and prays for that that wealthy benefactor that's going to come in and help support them and, like them just enough that they're going to help them reach attainable goals. So, yeah, um, I got to get some sleep here. It was nice seeing you, Drew, and everyone have a good day. Hillbilly, that is set. A spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. You here? All right, Stephen. You take care of yourself, bud, and you get some rest, and we will talk to you later, too. I'm sure the hat did, but I don't remember like I do with the rest of my outfit. As far as that sort of thing goes, I would like to visit Boot Hill. Oh, definitely. Definitely. But the thing is, which Boot Hill? There's a lot of Boot Hills out there. Almost, what they say, you would have to ask Santee about that because there are several old Westian towns that had a Boot Hill cemetery. I think I seen something last year, and don't quote me on this because I don't remember exactly, but I think there's like 8, 10, 12 different Boot Hill cemeteries somewhere in the Old West. I spend those extra seconds fixing the truck and Suburban and Forerunner. YouTube doesn't pay. I used to make about $2,500 a year. Last year I made 267. My hours is up. My views is up. Pay is down. Which is why, you know, that's why a lot of people have left the platform. Now, supposedly, depending on what your subject matter is what your pay is based on. Um, Here, when I had Living History Comes Alive 5 years ago, even 4 years ago, um, we when we got monetized on there, I was bringing in $200 a month. You know, I think the most I done was like $250 a month, and a few for a few months. Um, but since that channel was disbanded and Living History's Mysteries come up because of not having a real computer to do anything on, I have no way to get monetized now. So we rely on the donations, for the, 40 plus hours a week that I put in here working, we rely on the donations. So, um, two Cub Cadets, Husqvarna, 4 chainsaws, and the list goes on. I want to see Lester Moore's grave. That would be cool. Here lies Lester Moore, shot dead with a 44. How was it? Here lays Lester Moore, shot down by a 44. No less, no more. Yeah, something like that. So what you're saying is, if I show my ads, I will make more money. Probably. Probably. You might. I mean, I have a white wig that would probably match your beard better than mine. So, a skimpy dress, something with a square neckline that comes down, shows off some cleavage, um, a white wig. You got to be adaptable, man. You got to be adaptable. Give the people what they want. Sometimes you got to give them what they don't want, just to make them realize how bad they want it. It was like 4 rounds. Yeah, something like that. Here lies Lester Moore, 4 rounds from a 44, no less, no more. Shot down was, yeah, I don't remember exactly how it goes. It's been forever since I've seen that gravestone or that grave board. Skin to win. There you go. I think I threw up. Oh. Hey, you never know. Iron Dog in a wig and a not and a party dress. You know, that little black dress that apparently, with what we were discussing earlier with the scientific advisor, every girl has to have that little black dress hanging in their closet somewhere. And I think Dog in a white wig and a little black dress would probably be a hit. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Made an egg scramble today. Ham, onions, mushrooms, eggs, and cheese sausage gravy on top. That sounds good. That sounds good. Unfortunately, we can't afford eggs. A dozen eggs is almost $6 here now, and the daughter's endocrinologist wants her having eggs every day. So, needless to say, that extra $30 a month for eggs right now. And I'm not even going to attempt to start, looking at, a dozen and a half eggs or 2 dozen eggs, upwards of $17 or $18 for 2.5 dozen eggs. No. We we went up last week to the store, our only store in town, and hit the manager specials to try to find marked down meat that we could get and, put something in the freezer. And they had 2.5 pounds of ground beef in the manager special. 2.5 pounds. 17.54. There's no way. That's what a steak runs normally. Needless to say, we didn't dig very deep in the manager. Well, I take that back. We grabbed a couple packs of chicken thighs. We hate chicken thighs. Had the wife boil them, take the meat off the bone, and she made chicken and noodles out of them. Yuck. Here lies Lester Moore, 4 slugs from a 44, no less, no more. Thank you. That's how it is. But that does sound good, Dog. That sounds really good. That's a good breakfast. Just looked at the pic. Can't wear a mini skirt in San Francisco ball show. We don't want that. Thank God you only film yourself from like here up. Walmart has 5 dozen for $30. That's still $6 a dozen. So you're going to save what, $6? Because they're real close to $6.99 here for a dozen eggs at just the grocery store. So, you're going to save the $6 going to Walmart and getting 5 dozen of them. And I don't even want to know what Gordon Food Service is charging for their 5 dozen eggs. It used to be, I remember the last time we went to Gordon's, which was a few years ago. I think they had 5 dozen eggs for $15 or $16, something like that. I want to know what what they're charging now. 672 for 18, less the tax. It's about time to start rustle some chickens. Yep, I absolutely positively agree. We need to do something. Never remember it being over $5. Something has to give. Oh, I know. I know. I was trying to joke with the wife this morning about the tariff with Colombia, and she just started crying. She's like, it's already going to be impossible to live. It's going to be it's impossible to keep food in the house. It's impossible to put food in the house. It's impossible to make our normal monthly bills now. You know, she said she said, if we survive 2025, it'll be a bloody miracle. You know, we, it's bad. It's bad. And people just don't realize how bad it is. But it's bad. Um, but yeah, the last time I seen egg prices like this was right after the pandemic. It's scary. It's scary because you just don't know, and people have been complaining about all these executive orders and stuff, but nothing that he promised. I'm not going to say that because I still have respect for the man, but nothing that was supposed to be taken care of that first day was even addressed. The price of food, the price of gasoline, things like that. And then he wants then these they start wanting to put these tariffs in place, and it's just going to make things even more expensive. So it's scary because you just don't know what the future holds. But if it gets any worse than it is right now, people are just going to be accidentally walking out in front of buses and stuff like that because they can't survive. My poor wife already feels like a failure because this is not what life was supposed to be. She went to college, she got a good degree, she has a great job, got great insurance on her, and now great insurance on the daughter. But once again, because of their stupid rules and regulations, because I am the beneficiary to her 401k, she can't insure me through her job. And if she did insure me through her job, it's going to cost her like $300 every pay period. So, what do people do? Or what's a person supposed to do? Stop listening to news sources that lie. I was starting to say I watched the signing and didn't hear anything about those. So I sat there and watched the whole bloody thing because I was very interested. and I didn't hear any of those addressed. So, I'm anxious to see what happens. You know, I always, and maybe it's my personality flaw. Maybe it's my personality flaw, but I always have faith. I always have hope, regardless of how dark the night gets. I know deep in my heart, deep in my soul, the night don't last forever. My wife says that's a character flaw because I never take things seriously. I take them seriously, which is probably why the doctors think I've had so many of these little TIA mini stroke things, because I keep all of that stress inside. I don't sit around and cry over issues and things like that. I just keep doing my normal thing and wait for the sunrise. And that's just how I've always been. Oh, I do not listen to CNN or CNBC. No, 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 no. I do not listen to either one of those. The gas will come down, so will food prices when the oil companies produce more domestic oil. Good morning, Bud Files. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're staying warm and dry where you're at. Faith can be hard to hold on to when you see the past. When we get the pipeline going again. Yep, yep. It's sad that that couldn't happen right away. But anything, everything takes time. Nothing happens instantaneous. So, for somebody like me who, always tries to be that that shining light, you know, she can be having the worst day imaginable. She could be flooded with problems, flooded with emails, flooded with reports she has to do. She'll message me, she'll say something, I'll come back with some ding dong goofy comment. And then, I won't hear anything for 15 or 20 minutes, and she'll come back and she'll say, how do you do it? How do you always find a way to make me laugh? Because I don't dwell. I don't, I don't, that's my superpower. That's when I put on my mask and my little cape, and I, I keep right on going. You know, I, my job is to, I've told you 1,000 times since the day we met over 9 years ago, if I can't make one person laugh every day, even if I have to play the fool to do it, my day was a failure. I need to go back to bed and start over. I've always been that way. I will be that way till the day they stick me in a hole. That is a gift that more people need. He did an emergency fuel and food cost executive order on day one. Hmm. Well, good. Good. It's like I've said 100 times. I'm non-political. I'm non-political, but I always have faith and hope, regardless of who it is. Regardless of who it is, I always have faith and hope. I don't look at a person's political affiliation. I don't look at their religious affiliation. I don't look at their racial affiliation. I look at them as a person. And granted, sometimes you really have to chip away the bull crap to get to the jewel in the center of the stone. But keep chipping because you're always going to find the jewel somewhere, somehow. And a Unleashing America Energy. And see, I understand the pipeline thing. I understand the pipeline thing. Both sides of it. Both sides of the pipeline thing. Yes, it will move oil faster and easier. Yes. On the other side of the scale, if something does happen to that pipeline, it can contaminate hundreds of thousands of miles of river system where fresh water supply and stuff comes from for humans and, stock. So, both sides. I see both sides of it. I see the environmentalist side of it. I see, you know, the domestic cost and easement of it. Um, as a farmer, nothing is getting cheaper and cost more to raise and sell, spending more money for tighter profits. And see, I grew up in farming communities. I grew up out in the middle of BFE, y'all. And I seen our farmers struggling. I seen our farmers at one point in the 80s. They parked their tractors. They didn't drive through the field to check their crops. They walked through their fields, up and down every couple rows, checking those things out. The same farmers had cattle. They had like 10 acres that was and their cattle openly grazed the grass and stuff there. It's not that easy anymore. Every year that passes, it gets a little harder on our farmers. And it's no surprise that it's broken so many of them, physically, emotionally, economically. It's truly sad. Um, Now there is no lowering prices on day one due to time that things take to roll out. Hey bud, how you doing? 80s still linger in my mind. They linger in mine too. Believe me, they linger in mine too. What I wouldn't give to go back to the 80s again and do a do-over. maybe maybe instead of helping my friends that were in college to pass their exams and to learn the things that they were studying, I would have just went to college myself. I don't know. God only knows. That was a big problem with being um, smarter than a whip when I was younger. Was everybody came to me and wanted my help with stuff, but I was always helping other people and not helping myself. So yeah, it's a big kick in the butt when you're 57 years old and realizing, well, if I would have done this instead of this, well, if I would have done this instead of this, but then would I be the same person I am today? Would I have the same moral character that I have today? Would I still have that analogy on life, uh, making people smile every day, or my day being a failure? You know, would I be the same person? Would I care? Those questions go right along with it. God, not me. I was so freaking broke in the earlier 80s. No, thank you. Yep, I agree. I absolutely agree. That part sucked. But in the earlier 80s, I was still in high school. But it's that time, y'all. It is that time. It is time for me to be like a tree and leave. Time for me to be like a baby and head out. Time for me to be like a bunch of birds and get the flock out of here. So I'm going to hit it, start doing the stuff in here that I got to do, because believe you me, this is a full day's work. But you guys all take care of yourselves. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. God, take care of each other. We need it. God bless you. God love you. I do. And I got out of high school in 79. Yep. And I graduated in 87. So I'm 8 years behind you, bud. So, but you take care. And we will see you next Monday morning. Same fat time, same fat station. Y'all take care. Have a good day. Don't be like a bush and get trimmed. That's a whole different subject. Y'all take care. We'll catch you in a week.